What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In this video I want to talk about Pippi Wallpaper, an item that we used in a recent Neebs episode to differentiate the different resorts that they have in that series. Pippi Wallpaper is a small part of a larger mod called the Pippy User and Server Management Tool. There are a lot of really great functions inside this mod, and I highly recommend downloading it and checking it out, whether you are on your single player game or if you have your own private server. So let's jump into actually using the Pippi wallpapers and how to set them up in your game. First of all, you're going to need access to the admin panel. Now the Pippy admin panel is much different than the normal admin panel because you get so many more options with Pippy than you do with just the standard panel. So I'll just scroll through these here so that you can see what options are there. But we're going to navigate to the standard admin panel that you get with Conan Exiles. We're looking for building, and we're just going to type in wallpaper. You can see the wallpaper there, and this is the only way to get wallpaper. Admins do have the ability through Pippy to set up kits where they can hand these out to members of their server. Once you have your Pippy wallpaper, you can place them in various locations, and then you just need to link them to a URL. It's very easy to place them as any other item in the game, and there are a lot of different placement options. Once you have a wallpaper placed, interacting with it will bring up the settings for your wallpaper. We have configure, we have settings, and we have whitelist. So let's start with world settings. If you want it to be a solid wallpaper, something that actually has collision, you would check solid wallpaper. You can also prevent or allow climbing on that solid wallpaper. If you don't check solid wallpaper, people will be able to walk right through it. Then we have the image dimensions. You can set your own size for those images, and you can actually type in what you would want that size to be. You can also use the scale function, doubling or tripling or quadrupling and even more the size of that image. You can also use the source size once you have a source uploaded. Now, in order to upload a source, you need to have it hosted on some website, or in my case, I use Discord in order to host those pictures. I can then add them from the link that is in Discord and apply those settings, and you will see that the image shows up on the ground. Now you can see this image is much too big for this area, so what we can do is just move this to where we want it. I'm going to add a second source to show you the other options that are available, so we'll add that, and then we'll have two sources. Over on source settings, we can actually set it so that it will rotate between these images on a regular basis, or we can change it manually if we want to. So if we tell it number 1, it should change that logo. If we want it to rotate through those logos, I recommend setting an amount of time first. 5,000 milliseconds is 5 seconds, and then we can check one of these boxes down here, and that's going to allow us to see that rotate through there. So as you can see, that will rotate between the two different styles of that image. If you choose ping pong, this will load the source images into the wallpaper in a ping pong sequence each time on load. So 0, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0, going back and forth. If you want it to shuffle, you would just use the random source index. Again, you're only really going to want to do this if you have more than 2 images loaded. The force cache refresh is going to help you load those images every time from the link. So if there are changes or edits to that link, or if you are having a hard time seeing that image all the time, you'd want to use this option. At any point in time, you can go and remove a source and apply, and it will go to the single source or whatever source is remaining. You can delete all the sources and start all over by adding new sources. If we jump over to settings, there's a few different settings that we can add here. We can name it something different so we know what it is. And then we have ownership options. So you can actually set these up and give them to other clans. Usability would be who can interact with this tool. Editability would be who can edit the tool, and then visibility can actually be set so no one else on the server can see it. If I was to go and set this to owner only and someone else came on the server, they would not be able to see this wallpaper. And that means you could actually use this to set up invisible walls. The flag tools allow you to set it so that the options to interact with the wallpaper actually disappear. So if we say hide this and click apply, you can see that as I approach it, there's no option to interact with it. But if I click on it, it'll still pull up the settings menu. Whitelist will allow you to add certain people to the list of people that can use or edit or see this particular wallpaper. Now, Pippi Wallpaper does not operate with GIFs. It will operate with JPEGs and PNGs, but if you use the settings within the wallpaper function, you can actually create a GIF on your own using multiple images so that it displays motion. Once you have your wallpaper set up, you can actually remove the structure that's supporting it, allowing you to have floating wallpapers. And like I said, you can set these up so that people can move through them, or you can go in and create a solid wallpaper that people can actually not move through. You can see that I'm now climbing on that actual wallpaper. Now there is invisible parts of the wallpaper for these that you don't see. You can see how large this wallpaper actually is, even though the area that's showing the wallpaper is much smaller. Don't forget to whack the like button on your way out and let me know in the comment section below if you plan to use Pippi Wallpaper in the future. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for their continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you haven't seen the episode that I'm referring to over on the Neebs Gaming channel, I've linked that on the screen so you can get over there and watch it. Make sure you give them some Whack Nation love in the comments of that video.